Here's your wrestling news for March 4th, 2021. And your headlines for today include Big Show Paul Wight takes shot at WWE during AEW debut. Former Impact World Champion debuts in NXT. Controversial ending to title match, what'll happen next? Wrestling legend sadly passes. You'll never go into the Hall of Fame, what Vince McMahon told WWF legend. Update on Kacy Catanzaro's injury, how long she'll be out for. NXT to move to Tuesday nights. Brock Lesnar lookalike Parker Boudreaux training with former superstar. When will Wrestlemania 37 tickets go on sale? Huge title match set for AEW Revolution. He didn't want anybody to have the belt. Wrestling legend says Shawn Michaels held The Rock down. I don't like people who kiss butt. Wrestler blasts WWE Hall of Famer Mark Henry. Paige announces OnlyFans account. Shaq makes AEW wrestling debut, impresses everyone, and more. We're starting today with news from AEW Dynamite, as this week's Crossroads special didn't just see the on-screen debut of Paul Wight, but also his brand new t-shirt. In one of AEW's classic moves, the new shirt is a slight dig at WWE, as it has the phrase "No More BS" emblazoned on the front, a reference to Wight's WWE tenure as the Big Show, as well as some not-so-PG terminology that some fans believe he went through during the last few years employed by Vince McMahon. It's been confirmed that Wight will wrestle for AEW as well as be a commentator on AEW Dark Elevation and a company ambassador, and it's exciting to see what he'll do after 22 years with WWE. At NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day, news broke that LA Knight had signed with WWE, and this week he entered the Capitol Wrestling Center for the first time. Describing himself as the Tom Brady of wrestling, Knight said that Brady wishes he was half the man he was and promised to take over NXT in no time. That takeover may have already begun, as during the Cameron Grimes vs. Bronson Reed match, Knight distracted Reed, giving the wealthy Grimes the win. Fans will best know Knight as former Impact World Champion Eli Drake, and time will tell whether he keeps his promise to take over NXT. This week's NXT also saw Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax defend their WWE Women's Tag Team titles against Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai in a match that ended in controversy. When Kai went for the GTK, her knee gave out, allowing Baszler to lock in the Kirifuda clutch, but Kai made the tag. A big boot by Gonzalez aimed at Jax accidentally hit the referee, and with them down, Baszler locked in the Kirifuda clutch again. With Kai in the hold, Adam Pearce appeared and called the match for the champions, despite the fact that Kai wasn't the legal woman from her team. A controversial finish to say the least. We'll have to see if Pearce has any explanation for his actions, and what this means for the champions and the NXT roster. We've got some sad news to report next, as legendary promoter Jim Crockett Jr. has died, aged 76. Last weekend, the Crockett family reported that Jim had been hospitalized and was not doing well, whilst Robert Gibson of the Rock and Roll Express broke the sad news last night. Crockett owned minor league baseball teams before he inherited Jim Crockett Promotions from his father in 1977, and even held his own against Vince McMahon until he sold the company in 1988 to Ted Turner, who rechristened it World Championship Wrestling. Our deepest condolences go out to the Crockett family and those who knew Jim at this sad time. Since it began in 1996, there's been plenty of names to enter WWE's Hall of Fame, some of them truly deserving of the wrestling accolade, and some are Drew Carey. One name that hasn't been inducted is Ahmed Johnson, the first black WWF Intercontinental Champion, and according to the man himself, he'll never get the nod. Speaking on the Unscripted podcast, Johnson spoke about his departure in 1998 and an argument he had with Vince McMahon. He said, "Me and Vince had a falling out right when I left. We had a falling out, and he told me then that I wouldn't be in the Hall of Fame because of our falling out. He actually told me that." Johnson added that a lot of contractual differences led to him leaving the company, and he hasn't returned in the years since. Of course, we're only getting one side of the story, but the fact that Johnson, who broke ground in the WWF, hasn't been inducted into the Hall of Fame all these years later does add credence to his claims. In last week's NXT injury report, it was noted that Kacy Catanzaro was suffering some kind of leg injury after being attacked by Xia Li, and she was not medically cleared to compete. Now, the former Ninja Warrior has shared details about the injury, as she told her Instagram followers that she's dealing with a partial LCL tear. It's unclear when exactly Catanzaro suffered the injury, but hopefully she won't be out for long. A minor LCL tear can take from a few days to a week and a half, whilst more serious tears can take weeks or even months. At this time, it isn't known what the scale of the damage is, but given it's a partial tear, hopefully she'll be back in the NXT ring sooner rather than later. Speaking of the Gold brand, General Manager William Regal will make a huge announcement next week. Following the controversial women's tag team title match, Regal was seen arguing with Adam Pearce, and when asked by Mackenzie Mitchell, he promised a major announcement next week that will shake up NXT. Regal didn't specify what the change was, but it could be linked to the reported moving of the Gold brand to Tuesday nights, which will happen after Wrestlemania 37. Given he said it's related to the women's tag title match, it could be something to do with the NXT women's division. And whatever the case, fans will have to wait until next week to find out what the future holds for the NXT brand. Last week, WWE confirmed the signing of Parker Boudreaux, who with his impressive physique and similar look, has been compared to a young Brock Lesnar. Boudreaux hasn't exactly shied away from the comparison, even using Lesnar's old moniker of the next big thing on his social media accounts, where he also gives fans a glimpse at his workouts. Boudreaux's latest workout certainly caught a lot of attention, as he's seen training alongside former WWE superstar Eva Marie. This isn't the first time that Boudreaux and Marie have been spotted together, as he previously shared a picture of them both during the 2021 Royal Rumble, making for an interesting situation. It was in October last year that it was reported that Eva Marie had signed a deal to return to WWE, and whilst that return hasn't happened yet, perhaps a comeback alongside the debuting Boudreaux is in the cards for the former Total Divas star. WrestleMania 37 is now just 37 days away, and will be WWE's first show in over a year with real live fans in attendance. Since this was announced, fans have waited for details about seats, and now Fightful Select reports that WrestleMania tickets will go on sale next week. Their report said that there will be a test event in the Raymond James Stadium this Friday to work out any kinks in the ticketing sales. Though details are scarce about how many seats there will be and how much they'll cost, that hasn't stopped scalpers from trying to sell seats, and after over a year away, fans clearly can't wait to attend WWE events once again. NXT news next, as we previously reported that the Gold brand could be moving to Tuesdays, and now that seems more than likely. During Wrestling Observer Live, Brian Alvarez described the Tuesday move as a done deal, but the move isn't down to AEW. This move is actually down to NBC Sports Network closing and the National Hockey League moving to the USA Network. The belief is that USA can get more than 1.2 million viewers for the NHL, far more than they get for NXT, and that ad revenue will be higher as well. Both WWE and AEW will benefit from the change, as wrestling fans won't have to choose which show to watch, and time will tell whether their feud continues now that their war is seemingly over. Though AEW aren't the reason for NXT moving, the All Elite promotion is more than happy to take the credit for this change. During the conference call to promote this Sunday's Revolution pay-per-view, Cody Rhodes was asked about NXT's move to Tuesdays and said they'll come up with some sort of, quote, wonderful statement. Cody elaborated, saying that they'll congratulate NXT on the move and said that the real winners will be the fans, adding that he doesn't want to come across as sassy or a jerk. The former TNT champion also acknowledged that AEW has made digs at WWE many times in the past, but said that they're fun and lighthearted, and that both WWE's and AEW's locker rooms tend to love each other. With NXT moving to Tuesdays, it'll be interesting to see how AEW Dark is affected, but for now, fans will have even more wrestling content spread throughout the week. More AEW news next, as a huge Women's World Championship match has been announced for this Sunday's Revolution pay-per-view. In the finals of the Eliminator Tournament, Ryo Mizunami won the match, and she'll now face AEW Women's World Champion Hikaru Shida this Sunday. Mizunami and Shida are old allies and enemies in Japan, and their title match will have a lot of history, as the challenger hopes to end the 279-day reign of Shida. There's few names bigger in wrestling history than The Rock, who's gone on to become a leading man in Hollywood, but that may have never happened if Shawn Michaels had got his way. That's according to Ahmed Johnson, who spoke on the Unscripted podcast and said that the rumors of Michaels holding down The Rock are true. He added, Shawn Michaels was one. Shawn didn't want anybody to have the belt, and they were saying that I was so new that I hadn't put my time in to have the belt. Johnson added that nobody from the clique wanted the Brahma Bull to be the champion and claimed it was due to race. Interestingly, the WrestleMania 15 main event was originally planned to be a triple threat match between then WWF champion The Rock, Steve Austin, and Mankind until Michaels nixed those plans in favor of a traditional singles match, but HBK wanted the main event to be between Austin and Foley, with The Rock nowhere to be seen. Regardless, The Rock went on to have one of the greatest wrestling careers of all time, becoming a multi-time world champion, as no one could hold him back from achieving superstardom. Both Johnson and The Rock were once members of the Nation of Domination, but in the years since, the group hasn't kept in touch. In that same interview, Ahmed said he doesn't speak to the group much, if at all, anymore, and made it clear that he doesn't like Mark Henry. He said, "Not really. Spoke to Farouk a few times. I don't talk to Magilla Gorilla Mark Henry. I definitely don't talk to D'Lo." If you're not familiar with 1960s cartoons, Magilla Gorilla is a gorilla who's for sale in a pet shop run by Melvin Peebles, but the animal's behavior causes any buyers to return him. Johnson added, "I don't like people who kiss butt. I can't stand that. I can't stand that. If you can't make it on your own talent, don't be kissing butt and talking about other people behind their backs and trying to knock somebody else. I don't like that." We are not sure how much thought Johnson put into his nickname for Henry, but it's clear that he isn't a fan of the world's strongest man. Back to the present, and although WWE's rule against third-party deals led to Thea Trinidad being fired from the company, that hasn't stopped Paige from poking fun at the edict. On Twitter, the former Divas champion said that after fans have been hounding her, she has created an OnlyFans account despite WWE's rule against the site. When fans clicked the link Paige shared, though, they indeed found OnlyFans, namely all the various kinds of cooling fans sold by Home Depot. Judging by the replies, there were plenty of people disappointed that they didn't get to see more of the inaugural NXT Women's Champion, but for now, the OnlyFans Paige is selling can be found at Home Depot. And we're ending with AEW's Crossroads special, which saw the in-ring debut of Shaq, and the NBA legend did not disappoint. Though the match saw Jade Cargill and Red Velvet work the majority, Shaq's moments with Cody were impressive, with the 7'1" O'Neal delivering a very literal big back body drop, as well as an impressive powerbomb. Shaq also took out the Nightmare Family before Cody flung himself at the NBA analyst, sending them both through two tables set up at ringside. Selling as if he were knocked out, Shaq's team ultimately won the match, and we have to give credit to Shaquille O'Neal for delivering an excellent performance in his AEW in-ring debut. Well guys, that's our news for today. Please share your comments below. Also hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon to receive all notifications. And as always, thanks for watching.